Yo, 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 come on in. Come on in. You know what time it is. You know the breaking news. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it. It is your boy Chris Tip Moore for A1 Forever Sports. My guy Smitty, I don't know. He may pop in. I'm not actually sure because he has some very important business that he's tending to right now. But hey, you can always kick it with your boy A1. And we're going to talk about this breaking news because Kaleb McGary, our starting offensive tackle, has now retired. Yes, everyone, this is for real. This is real news. This is not fake news. It's been verified already by many sources on, X, Twitter, all the guys are saying it and whatnot. When I first seen it myself, I did have to check and make sure it was real. But when I saw the Falcons say congratulations on the retirement, when I saw Adam Scheffler, Ian Rappaport, when you start just seeing the usual suspects retweeting and posting their own selves, you already know what time it is. So, yes, y'all come on in, man. Like I said, Kaleb McGary, that's the breaking news that he has retired. And we're going to dive into this and try to come up with this together on how did this come about. Shoot, did the Falcons know about this? Did he come in on OTAs and say, "Hey, look, guys, I just can't do it anymore"? Or did the Falcons know about this prior? Because we know that they know about information before we get to it. So again, what I'm saying, just come on in, take off your shoes, get comfortable, get relaxed, because we're gonna talk about this thing. Because immediately, let's just go ahead and get rid of that elephant in the room. We know that this shakes up the draft board for the Atlanta Falcons now. Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, shakes up the draft board. We were leaning one way, but now we have to make sure we get a starting offensive tackle. Not sure if the offensive line has to now make a shift. Again, there are so many different things that just comes to mind now that you lose your starting offensive tackle. Um, but let me say what's up to the chat. Zay, what's happening? Yeah, I know, brother. I know it. I know it. Miss Drea, how you doing? How you doing? Huey, what's happening? Yes, it is for real. And King ATL supporter so far, man. I know this is midday madness, and I know also there are other content creators that are probably posting about this as well. But regardless of who's available and who's not, the news don't stop. It has to keep going. So that's why I'm here right now. And again, you're kicking it with your boy A1 Forever Sports, Chris Tip Moore. We're going into this Kaleb McGary thing. What's up, Eric Parker? How you feeling? Yes, yes, yes. In the words of Big Low, what in the world, Bo? Shout out to Big Low too, man. My brother in Falcon Arms. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to have an emergency coaches meeting about this. Probably tonight. I'm pretty sure because one thing about Big Low, he used to be in them trenches. And the guy, if I know Big Low like I think I know Big Low, this is definitely emergency, some type purposes that is going on here. Yeah, yeah, I know it. I know it, fam. We can't catch a break. We can't catch a break. Oh, yes, I'm gonna get into that because it definitely does create some cap space for the Falcons. So it's not, I mean, it's bad news because you're losing your starting offensive tackle, and you know that everybody behind him is substandard to some degree. It's a reason why they're backing him up. But yes, it does save us some cap space. But let's just talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. Like Kaleb McGary, of course, drafted back in 2019, 31st overall. Remember when we first drafted Kaleb McGary way back then, we were kind of surprised because we had just got Chris Lindstrom, and we thought that and that was in the teens, and we were thinking, okay, they got the offensive line together, so they got a piece. We needed that. Let's go forward. And then boom, trade back into the first round. Thomas Dimitrov does and picks up Kaleb McGary. I think honestly, he definitely was trying to save his job because you see those type of moves when guys start trading into the first and trading back and trade out. It seems like they're trying to save something, especially when it's evident that there is probably time to move on. But either way it goes, Kaleb McGary, like I said, he is a guy that was mostly durable. I mean, think about it. I think he missed And I mean, I know he missed this entire season, but prior to that, I think it was maybe like 6 or 7 games total that Kaleb had really missed. But ultimately, for the Atlanta Falcons, y'all, and I look at his injury history, I can go all the way back. Kaleb has had multiple things going on with him. Kaleb has had a lifelong heart condition as well, to where in high school he had a situation to where he had collapsed. University of Washington was diagnosed with AFib, which is atrial fibrillation, and also he has had ablation procedures as well. Underwent 3 of those, and those are all dealing with the heart. So all those things were said to be corrected, some prior to the Atlanta Falcons drafting him. And also, if you remember, Falcon fans, there was a knock on that because scouts were talking about, oh, you go and you draft him, and there are a little bit of concerns, but let's see how he holds up. Then you started having the lower body injuries. Okay, spring 2016, he had a left knee injury, and at Washington, he did not miss any regular season games, but he still had a knee injury. Then you look at it going forward, week 2 in 2019, he has a knee sprain. Week 2, 2020, MCL sprain. Another MCL injury 2 seasons later, and then a knee sprain in 2024. Basically, what I'm painting the picture of, the theme has been, if anything is wrong with Kaleb, it's been his knees. August 2025, of course, he has that significant knee injury that took him out for the entire season. But what people don't realize is he even had a scope done, is just to clean up some debris and everything prior to the him being out for the 2025 season. So regardless, his knees have been his issue really before he even became a Falcon. So it's like, it doesn't necessarily surprise me that it comes to this. Like, I mean, it's still a surprise, but it's like, when I sit back and think about it, Falcon fans, and I'm like, okay, what do you need as an offensive line? You need your knees. You got to have your knees. They're so important because you're bending, squatting, you're moving, you're kicking out, you're pulling, you're pushing. Like, you have to have your knees, and you have to have healthy knees. Think about that, y'all. We got to have somebody with healthy knees as well. Because all I'm saying is, just being fair, we are the same fan base. Not all of us, but just talking about us as collectively, get on Michael Penix because we're talking about his knees. Now, Michael Penix isn't talking about retirement, thank goodness, right now. But at the end of the day, this is a situation when you were squatting down and you were playing the offensive line. You have to be able to drive that force. You have to be able to kick, pull, push, all those things. And if you can't do that effectively, you're hurting your team. So, and I also have a few people, it wasn't just 1 or 2, but it was a few who were talking about, why is he just now coming out with this now 2 weeks prior to the draft? And I understand everyone who is upset about that. You have every right to be upset about that. But at the same time, let me. I always like to try to give a different perspective and a different way of thinking about it. So we know the initial. Why did you wait so late? Well, there could have been a possibility of him thinking, I will be okay. I mean, me personally, I know I spoke to Kaleb McGary on the sidelines, and I was like, man, I know this is a devastating injury. We're waiting for you to come back. We can't wait for you to come back. And I mean, he was in good spirits. I'm just talking about my own experience with Kaleb on the sideline. It seemed like he was in good spirits, but he did look like he hated not being on that field with the teammates. So in my mind, I'm like, was there a setback? Was there something that he felt like he was going to be ahead of schedule, and maybe instead of being ahead of schedule or instead of healing, who's to say that some things may be still deteriorating? And my thing is, regardless, when things start to get arthritis, when things start to deteriorate and everything, it's really hard to bring that back, if possible at all. And he's a professional athlete. He has a responsibility to uphold regardless. As a high caliber athlete, If you can't do it at the highest caliber, at the highest rate, you're hurting your team. So I'm thinking about it from Kaleb's standpoint. If I just can't do this at 100%, you hear this from sports people all the time. We all watch interviews of our favorite sports figures or someone in the sport that we love, and they talk about it. Hey, man, if I can't give it 100%, hey, man, if I can't do this, if I can't do that, there's no point in me doing it. I might as well move aside and let the next generation come in. We've seen that all the times. This ain't nothing different from that. And honestly, I'm grateful actually that Kaleb McGary will allow us at least these 2 weeks, the start of OTAs. Maybe he tried to give something to go and something didn't feel right, something, tweaked, anything. We just don't know. And to top that off with the previous heart conditions and everything that he possibly has to go through with the grueling offseason, I'm happy that Kaleb did at least give the Falcons an out before the draft. At least we know Kaleb is no longer going to be with the team. And let's talk about some savings. Kaleb McGary, with him retiring, saves the Falcons $14 million over the next 2 seasons because he was under contract. So yes, we did. It's a huge loss in losing Kaleb McGary because we still got to go find a replacement. We're talking about Storm Norton, Michael Jarrell, Jack Nelson. Are you confident with that? Respectfully, of course. But are you confident with that? Because I'm not. I'll be the first to tell you. I'll sit right here and tell you I'm not confident with that. So now, with that being said, there opens up a whole new world for different things. Now we're talking about, remember, we've been talking about our guys going to be here. And I ain't talking about I'm going to leave Drake and Bijan alone right now because we already know what Ian Cunningham has said about them. We're going to see about them possibly after the draft. But I'm talking about the guys that wasn't necessarily, talked about. Like, could Kyle Pitts be on the chopping block now because we need an offensive lineman? Hey, man, we got you, Kyle. Let me see. Got one of them offensive linemen that are good that we can have, and maybe we can work something out. Or do we just take the best offensive lineman at 48? Do we trade back, get more picks to possibly be able to double dip? There are so many different options now for the Atlanta Falcons, and it has been such a whirlwind, man, a tornado when you think about it for Matt Ryan, Ian Cunningham, all the things that we're dealing with. And then on top of that, like originally, we were planning on talking about the press conferences that happened today with Kevin Stefanski, Bijan Robinson, Jesse Bates. They all spoke today, all had great things to say. But this right here just overshadows that because this was your starting right offensive tackle, a spot that we had already been talking about anyway. And you've seen, as much as we got on to Kaleb, you saw, guys, how much we missed Kaleb this past season, excuse me. You've seen how much we missed him. Shoot, but it's a guy that's not even here anymore who missed a block. That was the block that got our quarterback hurt. So you've seen how much we missed Kaleb on that right side, regardless of him having slow feet. We make jokes and all that stuff like that, but we really got a real dose of what our offensive line on that blind side looks like when we don't have somebody at least able to do the job at a high level on a consistent basis without 100 million false starts. You want to talk about a false start Falcon? Anyway, man, let me get off. What his name is? Oh yeah, Elijah Wilkinson. Let me get off him right now. But back to Kaleb McGary, though, y'all. It's a tough decision, and you think about this too. Storm Norton was out all year too. He was out too. Boss, I hear what you're saying, bro. But at the end of the day, until we replace him, that's just words about it being an easy replace. If he was so easy, why the heck we couldn't replace him last year? Why didn't none of those guys step up and to be as good as him in that place? You got to ask yourself that. If you're so easy. I'm just saying we can't just throw words out here, man. We gotta match the production. We do. We have to go out and get a starting a right tackle for a blind side because we have two quarterbacks that throw from the same side. Talking about easy. We got to go make it happen, family. We have to go get a starting caliber right tackle to blind because we have two quarterbacks that's going to be their blind side. We have to make sure that is solidified, regardless, one way or another. But chat, like I know I've been talking, man. I really want y'all to be a part of this. I'm gonna start reading some comments for real. We do have to replace them. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've already asked y'all cool with Jack Nelson? I don't think he's ready. Storm Norton, he was out too. He's coming back, and I think he was better more so in pass pro than in his run. But we need somebody who is dominant in the run game too, because that's what we do. That's what we do. And I'm not gonna lie to you, McGary and Lindstrom on that right side. There's a reason why we always used to love running to that right side, because that's the best side for us to run to. You can look at the stats, you can look at the tape, you can look whatever. It's going to show you the same thing I'm saying. So I'm sorry if I'm not taking this so lightly and not just like, oh, okay, whatever. Bye, McGary. Come on, y'all. Come on. I'm not calling him a world beater, but I'm just saying he's our world beater because we're the Atlanta Falcons. It is what it is. At the end of the day, like I said, the savings though, $14 million over the next 2 years. And I'm not talking about 7 here, 7 there. No, 14 now, 14 then. So at least now, again, I appreciate you doing this before the draft, because now we can adjust our draft boards. Now we can look at different free agents to try to replace him. Now you can possibly draft somebody that is a more higher caliber guy who may be ready week 1 to go, or at least come in for competition, because maybe Nelson has gotten better. Maybe Storm Norton has gotten stronger and is even better now as well. Maybe Michael Jarrell will have a resurgence. I'm not trying to be funny here. I'm trying to be logical, because I'm just like, some of these guys have been backups their entire life. And I'm not just talking about just high school and college. So I'm okay, but Ron K said, I'm not hating on him. That's a tough decision to make, especially if you think you want to make it. Then you realize you're not the same anymore. And that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Guys got to be 100%. They have to be 100%. And if they're not 100%, then what can we do? What are they going to do? Continue to go? Now, I've already, I'm seeing people online and everything saying about, okay, Storm Norton can just swing right in. But Storm Norton was always a veteran swing tackle. And again, he missed injury due to ankles. So, and then you got Michael Jarrell. That's still developmental. The Seahawks, the world champions, were like gone. And we had him. Now, would you move Bergeron? I've seen people say about moving Bergeron. Possibly the right tackle, but I really want to keep Bergeron where he's at. Now, there are names out there, as far as like the draft goes. You could have in the 2nd or 3rd round a Kaleb McGary, a Blake Miller from Clemson. Lumu is from Utah. You know how they do in Utah. They're going to block. Northwestern has a guy. You also got Austin Barber from Florida. We actually just did a mock draft to where we actually really drafted Austin Barber. I believe he was a 4th rounder maybe in that draft. But regardless, you still winning. You still got to address the offensive line. I think we was going to address the offensive line anyway, but now I feel like the primary and the priority don't went up. That's where I'm kind of at with it. Storm was out all last year, so he is suspect on recovery. And that's real. That's real, Robert. Uh-oh. And do we got some more breaking news? And look at Ian Cunningham. And look at Ian Cunningham. Falcons signed Jawan Taylor, 1 year, $5 million deal. And guess what? Oh, okay, $1 million with incentives. But guess what? That's the type of GM we have. Remember, we had, oh my goodness, man, I just got so upset with Terry Fontenot. Golly, bro, don't you just hate when you like remember certain stuff, you get mad at your ex all over again, bro? So my thing is, why in the world? And I'm not saying that he had to go get it. First of all, Taylor wasn't available last year, but I'm just saying, like, you went and got Michael Jarrell. I can't, like, I want to be fair because I just want to be fair in it because I know our cap space situation wasn't as good as it is even right now. I know it was still kind of pinching pennies and all that, but it's just like, regardless, just to go make a move the same freaking day. That's the type of GM that you want to see it from you. That's the type of actions you want to see from your GM. And I still think that we're going to go offensive line somewhere, but this move right here, saving that 14 mil, I was just talking about that 14 mil. I was just talking about that. And then here goes Ian Cunningham making a move. Now, I like Jawan Taylor, but he still got a jail. I'm just being honest. Look, don't be trying to yell at me. Don't be hitting me with no come on tip. I'm telling the truth. He do got a jail with us. Crazy, man. But yes, man, again, Jawan Taylor is now a member of the Atlanta Falcons. I'm trying to figure out what is those rests. I'm trying to figure out all the contract details here. Okay. 1 year, yeah, 1 million incentives. But either way, it's another prove it deal though. But it's a smart move. It's added depth on the offensive line. You're going to bolster. I feel like it's more of a bolster in production as well. I'm liking it. Also, you got to remember, Taylor was released by the Kansas City Chiefs earlier in March, and they received about $20 million in cap space for that. Overall, will he be better than McGary? That is what people are going to try to basically like figure out now. The numbers say he is. Again, I ain't got no reason to lie to you. The numbers say he is. I like it, boss. Very smart, very smart. Next man up. It is. And my thing is too, even with him, it's still going to be competition because the Chiefs let him go for multiple reasons, for money and for production. They felt like they could move on from him for both reasons. So he's really a castaway who really has an opportunity to show that he is still one of the top-rated offensive tackles in this league. And shout out to Ian Cunningham for not dragging his feet. That's what I would give a shout out for. He did not drag his feet in this. And my thing is, we have an excellent teacher in Bill Callahan. We have an excellent guy that has a proven guy on the offensive line like Bill Callahan. So regardless, this still is, breaking news, and it still is, shocking that you see this. But man, that Ian Cunningham is something else, man. Smart moves, bringing in somebody else immediately. Wait a minute. What you got, Willie Doc? Do you think Raheem lied about how serious Kaleb's injury was? To be honest with you, fam, I won't put it past it, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason why I feel like there's a possibility of that is because everything just felt like it was just so secretive. Everything felt like it was just need to know basis when I want you to know. It really just felt like that. That's why it feels such like a breath of fresh air, and it feels comfortable, or at least more comfortable, because you have Ian Cunningham who's straight transparent. Everything that Ian Cunningham has said so far, he has done. Only thing that we have to wait for is the draft, because we know that he wants to try to manufacture more draft picks if he can. But if we have to stay pat at 5, we are prepared to do so. But until that result is evident, we are going to continue to try to manufacture these draft picks. So I don't think that necessarily that Ian Cunningham is done. I think that he's working the phones as much as he possibly can. And we're going to see exactly what happens on draft night. And there is still a possibility of people being traded away to gain extra draft capital or extra pieces, because you do have to make sure you solidify that right side regardless. And Taylor is younger than Taylor. He provides that. He's also going to be younger than Kaleb McGary as well. So you do have some things going your way. Hold on 1 second. I got to get y'all some more information. 1 second. All right. So overall, for those, I'm just pulling up PFF. I really don't be liking to go by these grades and stuff like that, because PFF be a little funny sometimes. But they are the best in the biz considering, so you got to take it at least with a grain of salt. Overall grade for Jawan Taylor, 53.3. Pass grade, 67.3. Okay, but we need that run blocking. And that run blocking was a whopping 43%. Snap counts, he had 760. So can't say he didn't have snap counts. 6'5", 330 pounds, 28 years of age. And former Florida Gator. It's funny about that. But yeah, overall though, he allowed 20 total pressures in pass protection, but it only resulted in 3 sacks. However, still 5 QB hits, and he was also flagged for 13 penalties over the course of that season. That's around in the same line as Elijah Wilkinson. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, because why would I lie to y'all? I mean, for what? I don't gain nothing by lying to my Falcon faithful. But at the end of the day, it's still gonna be competition. He's still younger. He still has championship experience. He still has that championship type pedigree, playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. Also he was pretty good in Jacksonville too, and I believe that they wasn't like Saxonville necessarily, but still he had a pretty decent career. 3 years down in Jacksonville, it was decent. Kansas City, again, they moved on from him. I just said they moved on from him because of production and money. And I just gave you the production, and I gave you the money prior to anyway. So regardless, Falcon fans, it's still going to be bringing in for competition. Do not be surprised if the Atlanta Falcons still make offensive line priority. But I was also saying as well, that, hey, hold on 1 second. Yep. No, facts. Yeah. The whole offensive line has to gel. Exactly. That's the reality right there. And that's what I'm saying. Like, even with bringing in Taylor, everybody has to gel. The good thing is, at least we're going to have 4 guys that are familiar with one another. The 5th guy, he's going to have to be brought up to speed. He's going to have to be caught up and everything. But I'm at least happy that we're going to have at least 4 guys that are going to be somewhat on the same page. And then Taylor, all he has to do is catch up to speed with the rest of the guys. But guess what? We still have Callahan. So again, like, I'm not necessarily overly worried. I just looking at it like this: with your starting right tackle leaving, I still think that there is room to possibly, especially if you're adding picks, if you mess around and add a pick or two, I definitely can still go on offensive line. I was thinking it was going to be trenches regardless, either defensive line or offensive line is going to be one of our first picks anyway. And now it's really just leading up to that even more so now with this retirement and also with this signing. Now, you could be done. You could be done, Falcons fan. You could be done with the Jawan Taylor signing and just say we're going to roll with that. But these false starts, man. These false starts, I just can't get with it. Yep, that's what I was saying, Danceman. Shout out to Danceman. What's good with you too, family? What's good with you? Yes, we're talking about that cap space. I was just telling everybody about the cap space. Yes, we're getting 14. It's really going to be 14 million this year and 14 million next year as well, because he was still under contract for this year and next season. So with the retirement, we instantly got them savings. That's why we was also able to make this move to sign Taylor for that $5 million. So yes, we roughly got anywhere from about 9.5 to 10 million left to still do something else if we need to. That's another thing. Auntie Pam, how you doing, man? Hey, man, y'all make sure y'all checking out the lady birds, AFN, man. They do their thing over there. They're rebranding. They're going after it. They're attacking the Falcons off season. You know, some head on. So y'all make sure y'all give the ladies a shout out over there, man. Y'all make sure y'all do that. Robert says good backup swing tackle. Depth could help too, with all things considered. Absolutely. Now, this is a good question too by Kingway, saying, what do we do with that extra 10 million? Well, we still do have to sign our draft picks once we do draft them. We do have to sign it, but the thing about it is we were already around in the 8 to 9 million range, I believe, before Kaleb even retired. Let's see if we can find those current cap savings right now. Let's see if we can find our current cap. Let's see if I can get a hold of that real quick. Okay, right now Spoke Track doesn't have it. It still has us before we made the move. Let me see. Yeah, because they still have Kaleb McGary on our team. So okay, so they haven't updated yet. Let's see. Okay, no one has updated yet. I guess this was breaking news for everybody because none of these cap space. Kaleb McGary is still on the Falcons on 3 different cap space sites. So give it a second and everything. I'm pretty sure, regardless if we don't get it on this show, we're definitely going to talk about it on another show as far as cap savings, cap space. What does this mean for the Atlanta Falcons moving forward, etc. So y'all just stay tight with that one. King, what's happening? Said, what about Jack Nelson? To be honest with you, bro, and I was asking everybody, man, like, do you feel comfortable with Jack Nelson starting at right tackle? Like, I think that he needs to be brought along some more. He had some times to where he was up and down. You know, he had some times where it was like, man, he looked like he didn't belong. And then he had some times where it was like, okay, he's going to be fine. So right now I'm kind of like meeting in the middle about Jack Nelson. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% certain about Jack Nelson being the starter. If he was to go out and earn it in training camp, so be it, because that's the proving ground. That's where you go on, earn it. Shoot, right around now too, with voluntary OTAs, when the mandatory OTAs come around in the spring, with the spring ball as they like to call it, and then you also have the training camp. If my thing is, whoever earns that spot is really literally going to earn that spot, even if it is a second round draft pick for the offensive line. Regardless, we got to have the best guy on that right side because we do have 2 quarterbacks with injury history. Okay. I like Michael Penix. Tua, he all right. I know he went to Alabama, so that's why I said he all right. But, you know, at the same time, Tua has dealt with head injuries, dealing with the brain. Of course, Michael Penix, we know, dealing with those knees. So regardless, we got to make sure that right side is okay. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, one thing that is going to help is having an offensive line coach that knows the ins and outs. As the old folks used to say, the tricks to the trade, that's going to be able to provide us with at least, I'm going to put you in that nook. I'm going to put you in that cranny. I'm going to go ahead and put you in the best situation and use your strengths the best way we always can. So that's at least one thing that I can say about Matt Ryan, Kevin Stefanski, Ian Cut. Well, Ian wasn't necessarily all the way here for some of these hires, but Matt Ryan, at least, you know what I'm saying, Kevin Stefanski, at least, bringing in all these different coaches, bringing in experienced coaches, bringing in familiarity, even if it is with the head coach. You know, so we gotta trust that this stuff is going to work. We gotta trust that coaches are going to earn their paychecks, right? Hey man, I really appreciate that. Appreciate that, man. Hit the like button, please, please, please hit that like button. I mean, because it doesn't just help me, even though Smitty is not here right now, I'm still broadcasting the Smitty's channel, so it still helps my brother Smitty too, hitting that like button and everything like that. And just because he's not here right now doesn't mean that, you know, we don't look out for each other and we trying to continue to help grow each other's pages, even if one of us are absent. Shoot, he just did a show, last week. I wasn't able to make it. But at the end of the day, that's what we do for each other. So, yes, please make sure y'all hitting the like button on A1 Forever and hitting that like button on Smitty Sports Machine. We gladly appreciate that, man. For real, man. King says, yeah, because one thing about Arthur Smith, he knew about that offensive line should be playing. Yeah, that was his calling card. And one thing about it, Callahan, that's his calling card too. And I'm with you. And I'm with you on this. If Callahan can't fix Jawan Taylor, doggone it, can't nobody can. Yes, Jew Sports, man. Shout out to Jew, man. Y'all make sure y'all check him out as well. Jew doing this thing. Jew Talk Sports on YouTube. Y'all make sure y'all check him out. King Richie, I was gonna let you slide, but it's just too many content creators coming in here today. Y'all make sure y'all check out King Richie. King Richie been playing, y'all. He been doing the Falcon talk, and then next thing you know, King just disappeared. Now shout out to King though, man. I know he been doing some other things, man. Had some graduation going on, all that stuff. So shout out to the brother. Shout out to him. Okay. Say Nelson back up. Hold on. I'm trying to make sure I ain't missing a lot of things. And that's what I was saying, Auntie Pam. And that's what I was saying right there. I'm so glad that he gave the Falcons an out. He gave the Falcons not only 2 hey, Kaleb put in his 2 weeks notice on us, y'all. Now I'm just cracking jokes, but that man put in his 2 weeks notice on us. But either way it goes, man, 2 weeks in advance so we can still be able to make a move. Ian Cunningham didn't drag his feet. He knew immediately, I need somebody that's at least proven. Okay, I'm going to do that. And now he still has the opportunity to adjust his draft board and say, okay, what offensive lineman, what's offensive tackle can we look at and where could we possibly get them? Also, there's still money left. Who's to say that with the rest of the free agents that are remaining out there that you're going to bring in yet another body? And then who's to say that an offensive lineman that shouldn't have slipped to the Falcons or even undrafted free agency and the Falcons sign them there? So there are a lot of different scenarios that can play out well for these old Atlanta Falcons. So shocking, yes, but I still feel like Kaleb did us a solid, y'all. He did not, he could have, okay, let me paint this picture then for you. For those who are still kind of like, whatever. Imagine if he would have went through training camp and all that, and then last day of training camp, he said, bro, I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. I just can't do it. We've got to line up for preseason, darn near regular season, and all of a sudden he comes to this conclusion. Or what if, okay, we're at the start of training camp. basically my point that I'm making is, what if it was past the draft? What if it was past a significant time in free agency and he just said, hey, man, I gave it a go. I can't go. Sorry. You would be feeling real salty right now. It'll be some of y'all out there in Falcon land, and I ain't gonna lie to you, you're dead wrong for doing this, but there's gonna be some of y'all sending hate mail. I'm hoping no death threats, but I've seen death threats for less. So it's just like, come on. Thank you, Kaleb. I feel like you did us a solid. I'm sorry about your knees. That is something very important about offensive line. My brother used to be an offensive lineman. He played all through high school. He started having knee injuries around his sophomore year in high school. But he was already kind of having like a little injury because he was an athlete. And at first we used to play basketball, and then he started gaining more size, and then he just went ahead into football. And then he went from running back, and he still was picking up size. So he went to offensive line, and he was a good offensive lineman, you know what I'm saying? But he started having those injuries sophomore year, junior year, another injury, then senior year, another injury. And these are all significant. I ain't talking about just no little tweak, no new knee sprain. I'm talking about something that people got to start cutting on you. So by the time he finished high school and it was time to go to college, when he would get down into that squat, into that little stance, man, you want to talk about some pain when you talk about trying to get up. Who's to say Kaleb McGary isn't going through some sort of that right now? Those linemen be some big guys, and that's still a lot of weight on that body. And then my thing is, everybody built different, everybody work out different. So it may be some things that you're not targeting. It may be some tendons, some ligaments that you're not necessarily strengthening at all points in times. And then on top of that, with just generic makeup, sometimes you're not always given the strongest body parts, the strongest tendons. Sometimes stuff just pops. You know? So right. So I love how coach replaced the retirement in like 45 seconds. Nah, for real. For real though. But again, in the past, guys, we're not used to GMs moving this fast. Think about it. Like, I mean, for me personally, like, I know some of you guys have been Falcon fans longer than me, and salute to you. But the guy that I can remember that did the most as a GM for the Falcons really was Thomas Dimitroff. For real. I mean, we went to the playoffs, the Super Bowl, all that under Dimitroff. We got Julio. We got coordinators. We got people on the coaching staff. At the end of the day, like, that's the guy, as much as we hate how it ended and how he did with the money down toward the back end of it. But still, that's the guy that I think about when I say, okay, we've had success as a GM. So if there's any measuring stick that I'm thinking about where the Falcons can go, it's Thomas Dimitroff as far as GM. Now, Ian Cunningham, as far as making moves, he is already, you know what I'm saying, on a great trajectory to possibly surpass that. But in order to do that, of course, I don't want to like put it up to just getting to the Super Bowl because I feel like that's too much pressure initially. But at least get to the playoffs, start getting to the playoffs consistently, making smart moves, making smart signings, all that stuff like that. Because even with the head coaching, we got to look at Mike Smith, the most winningest coach in Falcon history. That's what we're looking for. Who can be the next guy to come in here and stay as long as Mike Smith did? Win as much as Mike Smith did. Win more than Mike Smith, hell. You know? So, again, it's just certain things we're just not used to as Falcon fans. It's funny nobody even considering Storm Norton. I mean, my thing is, bro, he's been a backup. Yes, we still got Storm. There is a possibility of, hold on, Josh, wrong doggone thing, my bad. There is a possibility of this right here. he may start Storm Norton because, again, there is a possibility with him already knowing the system, even though he's coming off that ankle injury, he still knows the system. As far as like I'm misspeaking. Not the system, because this is a completely new run game. It's going to be similarities, but the verbiage and everything is going to be different. But at least he still has the same, at least, camaraderie with most of the guys, with all the guys that are on the line. He's played with these guys, whether if it's on first team, second team, practice squad, scout, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, most of the time he's lining up with these guys. So at least he should know some tendencies of the rest of the four. And the rest of the four should know some tendencies and of Storm Norton. So that's not far-fetched right there about him possibly starting. Titan said, I don't see the big deal. McGary wasn't all that. Yes, he was cool in the run game, but I remember how much he was a nuisance. Hey, and look, that's why I said too, I didn't want people to think I'm calling Kaleb McGary a world-beating right tackle. I'm not even calling Kaleb McGary a top 10 right tackle overall. But all I was saying is, me personally, was like, for the Atlanta Falcons, he was our guy. You know? I mean, he was our guy. He had the feet like concrete, but we seen how much we missed him when he wasn't there. And I know that's not a whole lot to say, but that's still the Atlanta Falcons reality. So all that means is, what the Falcons need to do: get better talent. Always get better, get better, get better. So we can have better. So we can stop making comparisons about Kaleb McGary and how big of a loss he is or isn't, because we don't have anybody behind him, and then the people behind him are even worse than him, which is, let's just get better talent. Let's just get better talent. Yep. That's what I was talking about too. West Side, Airmo, and everything. He was his retirement frees up that 14 cap space in 27, and 26 and in 27, fam, because he was under contract. So we getting it this year and next year. You know what I'm saying? We just got to raise our talent level. We got to raise our expectations. We got to do exactly what our freaking slogan is. We got to rise up everywhere, y'all. In the talent, in the coaching, in the culture, because the only thing that matters is winning. That's what we need to be known for. And again, I feel like we have a GM that wants to make winning moves. I feel like we have a president of football who literally bleeds Atlanta Falcon red and wants this team to win. And you see things, and we talk about job not finished. This man was cool. You think about it. Matt Ryan was fine. CBS was paying him. CBS didn't want him to leave. CBS like, we got you, big dog. And the only team in the world that he was willing to leave that cushy job, I work for CBS. Trust me, they got cushy jobs. But anyway, he leaves that cushy job just to come be a part of the Atlanta Falcons to help us get to the promised land because the job not finished. That man bleeds Atlanta Falcons. So my point is, he cares. It's different from just having somebody just coming in and just saying, hey, I'm doing a job. Yeah, y'all hired me. Yeah, I'm going to do the best I can. Yeah, we're going to go out there. We're going to get the best out of everybody and blah, 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 blah. It's different. That man literally cares. So with that, I'm hoping that extra fire and extra motivation, which we've seen it with the hirings, different hirings, you know, you can feel how you feel about Kevin Stefanski. But I'm just thinking about overall with the experience that he's brought in with Kevin Stefanski. Yeah, I was a little funny about Tommy Rees, but I feel better about Rees than I did Zach Robinson. So at least it's better. At least I feel like it's better than what we had. And then you can bring in Alex Van Pelt, Thomas Engstrand. You know, you bring in those guys like that are former offensive coordinators, and also Drake May, a guy that was just in the big dance credits Alex Van Pelt for the development. So I'm hoping that from Michael Penix and or Tua Tagovailoa that we're going to get the best quarterback possible, because we got so much talent and experience along our coaching staff, and we don't have just guys just holding positions. The positions that they hold are the positions they're supposed to have, because that's what they specialize in. Ron, what up? Yep. That's what I'm saying, man. Ian Cutting. What my boy? What my boy? Not John. Not John. I mean John too, but still, man. What my boy Winston at? Oh, Ian Cutting the fool ham. Cause that's all he doing, man. That's all he doing. Matt Ryan will get his Super Bowl ring he deserves. Hey, man, it ain't just Matt. I ain't gonna lie to you. I know it's not gonna happen, but let's just keep it real, Falcon fans. If we were to win the Super Bowl this year, don't y'all feel like we all deserve rings? I know I don't care if it's like a little cheap little 25-cent looking ring or something like that. Bro, I need me something. Because we've been holding you down for 60-something years now. I know some of us ain't 60, some of us ain't even 50. But I'm just speaking for all those ones, all the Falcon fans that lived and died by the Falcons. We need rings. We need something. Or either that, we need the biggest parade you have ever seen in your life. I'm just saying, man, we've been so invested in this team for the longest. And it's not just us. If the Jets win, if the Lions win, Browns, all them franchises, if any of them guys win rings, they franchises should be giving their fans rings. We one of those teams too, because we've been holding it down. It's so funny, Tony Wright. Shout out to you. Travis Burt, I just recently did a mock draft, and I picked him up in the 7th round. Believe it or not, same guy. That's why as soon as I seen his name, I said, "Oh, I just drafted him." In a little mock draft, because it's getting in that season and stuff like that. And we're going to do more mock drafts as well. Me and Smitty, we're going to have some guests on with us doing some mock drafts. We're also trying to do another ladies' night to maybe possibly get them on to help out with the mock drafts too. We think that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, man, we're still working and we're still doing things and trying to get people on behind the scenes. Working on trying to get Steve Weish back on as well too, man. One of my favorite interviews. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've always been a fan of Steve, even back from when he was a beat writer for the Falcons. So to see him get to where he is now and to see him doing his thing and then to be able to talk to him, I'm not gonna lie to you. That was something I scratched off the bucket list. I ain't gonna lie to you. Especially since the fact that, unfortunately I was unable to speak to one of the guys that really got me into this business as far as talking and everything, and that was Stuart Scott. Stuart Scott is one of my idols. I ain't gonna lie to you. So, yeah. So with this, just giving y'all a little bit of, I guess, my personal life, how I felt about that. But yeah, we need rings, man. Birdcage LLC, man, what it do, man? Ryan, the historian, and the magnificent Birdcage. I know they did a live as well. We're just talking about the same thing I'm talking about. Kaleb McGary retiring. We're going to have to go possibly still get an offensive lineman, but shout out to Ian Cunningham for going to get Jawan Taylor. And, making a move, not dragging his feet, man. I love that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Yeah, that's another reason why he was 7th round, my bro. Dirty Bird. That's another reason why he was 7th round. I picked him up in the 7th round, but I felt like for my last pick, which is round like 215, offensive lineman, right tackle that needs some work. We got Callahan. I took the chance. So you never know. If Burks is around in the 7th round again or goes undrafted, you never know. But he does have potential. I will say that. It's like It's a few things that he just needs to work on. You know, I know sometimes the pad level be too high. Sometimes, you know, you're not. Sometimes the defensive linemen are able to get to in his chest before he's able to really establish himself and stuff like that sometimes. But, you know, regardless, he has some upside, though. He does. He does. Yeah, man. Stuart Scott would, man, listen. Like, the thing about it is, man, if you really just want to see how and how fly and how good or just great that Stuart Scott was, after this show, go ahead and just type. You're gonna be on YouTube. Just go ahead and type in YouTube Stuart Scott's illustration of Kobe Bryant's 81-point game. When I say still to me one of the greatest highlight reels, he made Kobe Bryant's feats even better just from that program, just for him outlining how he was giving information, how he was just boom, and it was just so crisp, and it was before you know it, he just hitting you with another fact and just being effortless with it at the same time, man. I ain't gonna lie. Again, there's anybody that I strive to be in this business. If I can be half as good as Stuart, I feel like I'm doing something for real. But yeah, man. Travis said, I would love a ring, even if it's a replica of the future Super Bowl ring for Falcon fans. Heck yeah. All I'm saying is shoot. Eventually the Braves got around to doing something like that for the rings and all that stuff. And the Braves was like, hey, you came out to the game, you got a ring. And then it got to the point to where I believe a couple of times they gave them out for like just random games. It was like, hey, you can come get the 95 ring. I think you can come get the 2021 ring. And they started doing stuff like that. I know it's tough because, I mean, again, we're talking about millions of rings. You know how much money that's really going to cost. That's why I say realistically, I know it's hard to do, but we need something. It's just like, it's got to be special. Our first ring, when we win our first ring, it's going to be special, but I feel like it needs to be absolutely unforgettable. That's basically what I'm getting at. I think it has to be absolutely unforgettable. See, Tony, but that's what I talked about. I've already talked about Jawan Taylor because my brother earlier, I forgot his name. That's why I call him my brother. But he already had put in the chat earlier about, you know, some Jawan Jennings signing for that 5-year, 1 year deal. It's a prove it deal. And we need some help. Kaleb just retired, freed up that $14 million. And at the end of the day, we had to use it. I'm happy that Ian didn't drag his feet. He brought in some competition, but I also do feel like there's a possibility that we still go offensive line. Because my thing is, think about this. Even if I say offensive line and not offensive tackle for a reason. And I'll tell you why. The reason why I say offensive line is because we do still have Bergeron. If they want, I don't want to move Bergeron. But if the Falcons want to move Bergeron around and put him at left tackle, right tackle, something like that, they want to do, that's their prerogative. But I want to leave Bergeron where he's at. But even if you do move Bergeron, now you got to get a new left tackle. Are people really sold on Ryan Nuzile? Are the Falcons sold on Ryan Nuzile? You never know. The Falcons could have been looking at a center before all this had went down as well. I mean, we just don't know at the end of the day. But I will say this, y'all, before I get ready. Hold on. I got a question. Dang. I got a question. I'm trying to pull it up. All right. Ian definitely drafting a tackle. Might get a trade back if it makes sense. To be honest with you, the trade back made sense before all of this. I don't think that Kaleb McGary retiring changes anything about a possible trade back, simply because, as I said earlier, Ian Cunningham is going to try all the way down to the ninth hour, to the nearest hour, to the last hour, to try to manufacture more draft picks. One way to do that is you trade players, or you can possibly trade position. So if you're trading position, so you get trade out at 48, maybe drop down to 58, just throwing a number out there. So you can possibly gain an extra third rounder or fourth rounder, stuff like that. I still think that those possibly may be in the cards as well. Now, I have done a mock draft to where we did no trades. And I think, honestly, that, matter of fact, I think so. And our GM, Ian Cunningham, has already said that is the worst case scenario. But if that's the scenario, that's the scenario. But until then, we're trying to manufacture more draft picks. Ian Cunningham despises not having draft picks. He hates only having 5. At first I was thinking, oh, okay, he just saying that he don't like the fact he don't have draft picks. I get it. No, bro, upset about that for real. Like, Mr. Cunningham is upset about that for serious. Like, for real, man. Like, all jokes aside, like he wants those draft picks. So, and the fact that he has hit on everything since then, it's really, really hard for me not to give him the benefit of the doubt about trying to get things straight, trying to get everything handled, and trying to get those draft picks. We already got the comp picks for next year. So again, we're going to be drafting guys, and we're going to be, holding the guys that make sense. Now, as I get ready to get up out of here, y'all, I will leave y'all with this because I'm going to see what Smitty got going on. And if he has time, we're going to run it back and talk about some of these press conferences as well. But before I get up out of here, I got a question for you. How do y'all feel about what Jesse Bates said? Did y'all see the interview? Jesse Bates says he wants to retire as a Falcon. Jesse Bates says, I want to be a Falcon for life. Jesse Bates has said, why wouldn't I want to be a Falcon? That's something else right there. Now, he has a home here. Family loves it. I think collectively I can speak and say we like Jesse Bates, right? Overall, I think we like Jesse Bates, right? But this is where it comes to the realization. Just because we like Jesse don't mean the future plans and where we're going is going to like Jesse. Jesse said there is no extension talks as of yet, but an extension with the Atlanta Falcons is something he would definitely be interested in. So, how do you guys feel? Do you guys feel like after those comments and what he's saying, if y'all didn't see it, it's around in the 8-minute mark of the video, maybe. Don't quote me. I don't have it in front of me, but I know it's somewhere in there to where they were asking about the extension. Listen to how he said, why wouldn't I want to be a Falcon? And it was just almost like, bro, what kind of dumb question that was? I'm just saying, if we was on the streets, that's how it sounded to me. What kind of dumb question that is? So Jesse loves it here. I don't necessarily think it's all tongue in cheek. I understand people have homes here all the time. Man, who don't got a home in Atlanta that's a sports athlete feels like? But at the end of the day, that is what you want to hear. You want to hear somebody who wants to play for your team. But is it in the cards? Because again, this is a new regime. There is still a possibility of Jesse being traded. Same for Kyle. And it could be a surprise that we're not even seeing, that we're not even thinking about that possibly could be traded. Maybe it's a shocker out there that we're like, boy, what? But if it is, it just means that they weren't a part of the plan of the new regime. Boom. That part right there. That's how I feel about when I hear Jesse Bates saying he wants to be a Falcon. Also, he talked about how big it was, how big it is to be in a system for the second year in a row. Talk about being with Jeff Olber, because remember, Jesse is not used to having one coordinator. It's been a different coordinator every year since Jesse been here. So he said it's big going into year 2 with Coach Britt, because he believes the first year was actually the secondary and the team learning his system. Well, let me tell you something here, brother. If you get 57 sacks while you learning, you know what I'm saying? If you can get 57, this defense can get 57 sacks while learning, then boy, I can't wait for year 2. Go for 60. But he did talk about it'd be great if they was to, you never know, get the interception record this year. You never know, because he feels like the secondary are going to be more locked in and dialed in, because it's going to go from, okay, I'm supposed to be here, I'm learning here, it's going to go from I'm thinking to I'm reacting because I know what I'm doing. You can put me in this cover 2 shell. You can put me in this cover 3. You can put me in cover 1. You can put me in man-to-man. You can put me in cover 4. And I'm going to be able to produce because I know the system. So, so just something to think about though, man. But team-friendly deal. I would love it. I would love it. Yeah, let's go to new heights, Georgia State Panthers. Hey, let's do it. Matter of fact, why not go get you a Georgia State Panther? Because it's a guy named Ted Hurst out there that I am not going to lie to you. I love me some Zachariah Branch, but if Branch is gone, the next tallest and best receiver to me, they're probably going to be realistically around in the Falcons realm in the second, third. Nah, he ain't going to make it to the 4th round. Second and third round, Ted Hurst. Ted Hurst. I like that kid a lot. But thank you, family, as well, man. Hey, man, solo show, man. Shoot, it's crazy, man. But one thing about it is I wasn't solo because I had each and every last one of y'all with me. So, man, I appreciate y'all coming in. I appreciate y'all staying, pulling up, and we talking about this Kaleb McGary news, because it was breaking news. But my thing is, shout out to Ian cutting the fool ham, going out, not dragging his feet, not waiting until tomorrow, not waiting until next week, not just going to go pick up just any joker. I mean, he did pick up somebody with at least championship experience. He did pick up somebody that was sort of a castaway, and he did give him a deal that he's only saying, yo, prove it. And we'll see what happens. So, man, Falcon fans, again, I'm going to see what's good, man. Y'all please make sure y'all like and subscribe, on both Smitty Sports Machine, A1 Forever Sports. Again, I'm going to reach out to Smitty, and I'm going to see exactly what's going on. What's going on with them in 1 second, and try to see if we can possibly get on here together and talk a little more Kaleb, because I definitely want to get Smitty's opinion and his thoughts about this and everything that's going on. I'm pretty sure that you guys are waiting on it too. But we're going to try to see if we can run back some talk about those interviews. I'm going to see what some of our guests are talking about too, because, again, we're trying to get some more people in. But until then, man, peace and blessings to you all, man. Make sure you guys find your peace today, because positive energy always creates elevation. And we got to keep that positive energy going into the draft so we can get the best outcome, for our expectations. Also, A1 Forever Sports. Again, that's the platform on YouTube. Come over, like, comment, subscribe, be a part of the A1 family. Same for the Hawks Digest, man. The Hawks got a big game tonight, okay? We got the first of 2 games against the Cleveland Cavaliers. If the Atlanta Hawks win tonight, they lock in a playoff slot. They will not be in the play-in, aka the Atlanta Hawks Invitational. They will not be there. If they can win tonight, against those Cleveland Cavaliers. It's going to be a tough game. But if they can do it, they'll lock in a 6 seed, and it'll be the first time in the playoffs, and the actual playoffs, really since 2021, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, we need that. Also, Twitter, A1 Forever, Instagram, A1 Forever, and the real A1 Forever on TikTok. And again, y'all make sure y'all check out my boy Smitty, Fat Boy Slim 21 on X or Twitter or whatever, saying, you already know his YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Instagram, he over there somewhere on Instagram. It's hard to find Smitty on Instagram because he don't even know where it's at. But all jokes aside, man, peace and blessings to you all, man. Rings for Atlanta. He said I would have been. Yeah, that money, definitely that money. My goodness. Yes, sir, man. But until next time, y'all, peace and blessings to you all. I really appreciate all y'all for real, man. I just don't understand. But gonna be right back at y'all. Until then, y'all, I'll holla.